there. Welcome back to Earthy Love Medicine. Today is my second day eating after being on a 122-day juice cleanse. All I've had today is 2 apricots, and that's it. And I've drinking 2 watermelon juices. And when I took a bite of the watermelon when I was juicing it, so I'm just kind of taking it slow. Yesterday, it's mentally, I think the temptation is, oh, I'm eating now, right? So then I just want to be able to eat everything, but I don't want to hurt myself. So if you've been watching my channel the whole time, then you know that I kind of had a thing about making my son raw dips and squirting them on my finger and stuff like that to help satiate the hunger, because it would be so brutal sometimes. So I paused the video for a second because my daughter came out. I just get really distracted if she's out here, so I had to tell her go in the house, and then I forgot what I was talking about, but I know what I'm talking about. Basically, the struggle is to not allow myself to go straight into eating like crazy just because I can eat now. And of course there's that inclination to do so. And then what's really weird is the conflicting inclination is to not eat at all and just keep juicing, because that's what I've been doing. So I'm hoping that juicing part really just, when all else fails, I'm just going to juice. Like if I am scared to eat, I'm just going to juice. And then as I add food, because I have a food addiction. I was addicted to the foods that I was eating, and I've been going through this for a long time. So I never liked looking at it that way, but my brother keeps saying that, so he's right. It's I am addicted to all the toxic stuff in the food. So, I'm gonna have to pause it again. So the food addiction, it's very mental, and I've been like that for a long time. So, admitting that to myself is kind of weird, but I also feel like all of us are addicted to the foods in one way or another, the toxicity. I haven't eaten McDonald's in over a decade. I don't eat that crap. I don't eat fucking Burger King. I don't eat Jack in the Box. I don't eat any of that stuff. The only one I would eat was Taco Bell, but then that became my fast food, or Del Taco, or that kind of stuff if we're on the fly. But then when I became vegan, it was really hard to eat that way, so I rarely got Taco Bell. I'd still do it every once in a while though, because in my mind it's just beans and it's this and that, but it's fast food and they put bullshit in there. And then when I became vegan, I found Burger Patch, and that was fucking amazing. I'm my fat girl food is nacho cheese. You'll hear that throughout my videos. That's my shit. I love nachos. I love it drizzled in freaking nacho cheese. One of the first things I learned how to make was nacho cheese raw, so that I could have it, and I make a really fucking good one. So it's, and you just find ways to have the things that you want. And so I'm just trying to, I guess what I'm trying to say, I don't want to ramble on, but I'm just saying that food addiction is a real thing. Addiction period is a real thing. And the toxicity that's in our foods, it's very easy to be addicted to. So, the mentality that comes around all of that, being someone who's overweight, being someone who's addicted to food, being someone who's scared to move in their body because they're big and they're unhealthy, going from that to being I'm not afraid to move in my body the same anymore. Yes, I have to rebuild, I do, but I can do things that I have not been able to do in a long time. I'm changing my life. So it's when you go to a place of I just want to fix this really quick and then go back to the way I was, that's not real. When you go down this road, that's not the real conversation. This is the road of, how am I going to heal myself, and how am I going to stay healed and continue to do healing on myself for the rest of my life? Because we're constantly inundated with toxins through the air, through the water, through everything, y'all. So it's important to, always do detoxes and cleanses And so going from a life where I would let myself eat, I always had food restrictions, obviously, because that's what people overweight do. They restrict themselves. But I would restrict myself in ways that I thought was healthy, like being a vegetarian or like going vegan. But then somehow, some way, I'd always end up back to the quicker, faster way. And I had to learn, that there is no easier, faster way in this. There's no easier, faster way. This is the, John Rose calls it the hero's journey. And, the longer I do this, I understand, because you're separate from the world once you do something like this. No one else is doing things like this, like in your like normal society setting. Now, are people doing this? Obviously, that's how I was led to this. And that's why I'm doing this, by pioneers like Christina, Fully Raw Christina, and then the newer people who are in Jillian Berry. She's freaking awesome. And and then there's many other names that I could drop of people that I am inspired by, and that it's their journey that led me here and gave me the confidence in myself to do what I'm doing right now. Because it's like, if that person can do it, why can't I? What makes them any different or special than me? What did they do that was in life that was any better? Nobody's better. You know what I'm saying? It's about choices for ourselves and what we feel we deserve. And and I see that people have things that I want, like health, longevity. They can do things that I want to do. They're following their dreams. They're doing things that I dream of and don't do. And so that thing, that one dumb little thing that like changed everything for me, the just start, that changed it for me. It's like all I had to do was just start, this. And once I started, it was like, this is, I have woken up from like just being oblivious, like I've been going through this for like the last decade, just one realization after another, and I've been slowly just pulling away from regular society, because as you start to learn and grow and understand and have objective thinking and can question things and start to see the things for what they really are and not what we've been fed and programmed to believe they are, it really makes you feel set apart from everybody else. Because when you talk about that stuff, most people are like, miss me with that shit. I don't want to hear that. You're fucking nuts. And then some people are intrigued, but then because they're polite and they're like, okay, you're kind of interesting, but you're a weird bitch, right? And then some people are like totally on the page, totally know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to some stuff, and like see all that. But then the food, that's the one like conspiracy theory that like it's so difficult. I don't care if it's a Christian or the most spiritually evolved, I don't know, if you're eating meat and dairy and all those things, and and you're not like trying to go down a path like this, none of this is for you. Like, this isn't what you're trying to do. But if you actually are trying to do this, and this is something you really care about and want, you have to look at like what kind of commitment it is to like go down a healing journey, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is like, I didn't get here at 45 like this, like overnight. It took me my whole life of experiences and heartbreak and triumph and all the different things that I've gone through in my life, with my body, with my mentality, with love, with relationships, all of it, everything that I've gone through, I feel like has led me to this place where I have to take my life back. That somehow in this world we're trained to give all of our power away by thinking that there's some external source that's supposed to bring us happiness and joy and stability and peace and organization and all the things. There's nobody that's going to live your life for you, and there's no external force that's going to be fulfilling for you. No money, no food, no drugs, no freaking sex, no nothing that's going to fill your cup unless you find that within yourself. And realizing that, I'm just getting so many flies on me, realizing that, and like going through the process of like peeling away all the things that made me that way, and like habits that I live out, like if you've been watching my channel, then that I've smoked weed on and off like my whole life, since I was like 15. And like, some people, they have their freaking alcohol and they have their this or whatever. I've always gone back to weed. And And I don't like comparing weed to alcohol necessarily. I'm talking about when you use something that alters your state as a crutch in life instead of facing it head on without anything. And that's one of the things that I want to master more than anything, is that not being dependent on anything ever. And so I do see marijuana as medicinal, but I'm not always using it medicinally. Sometimes I struggle to walk through intense emotions. I'm very intense, and because I've been taught to shut all of that down. I grew up around a lot of men, crying showed weakness, all that kind of stuff. So as I got older, I realized that, crying does actually give you strength and is a part of being strong. But some of the programming that I'm breaking through right now is about not being weak and all these different things. And because that's the layer that I'm at of things that are kind of unfolding from me. So I don't know what age I got that, and I don't, but that's something that I'm working through. And I think it kind of has something to do with around the age I started smoking weed, which was around 15. Now, I don't think that I'm going to be the person that never smokes weed again. I just don't. I mean, I guess I don't want to declare that, but I mean, I guess part of me wants to be somebody who doesn't smoke weed ever again, but I also see how it's a social construct in my world, and everybody that I'm around and everything, like my whole world it's a whole social construct. So that's something that I'm breaking through and working through. I've seen people go through this, and some of their testimonies, and they can have a drink now and it doesn't even bother them. I haven't had a drink in over 11 years. I'm very proud of that. I come from a long line of alcoholics, and I've seen alcohol destroy a lot of people in my world, siblings included. I don't know if it's destroying my siblings. They're very high functioning. They own businesses and all this stuff. So I guess if, that's what makes them happy and that's what they're doing. I mean, who am I to say? They may look at me and be like, you fucking stoner, you're 45, you ever gonna stop smoking weed? Like, who fucking knows, But the point of sharing all of that is that, we all are using outside things to give us the pacification that we're looking for in this life. And I'm tired of, wow, what a weird revelation just now. I used the word pacify, and then I was like, but we pacify children with a pacifier. So obviously there was a time in my life where I was trying to pacify some stuff, and I did not develop in certain ways emotionally that I thought I had. And that's something that I've really been walking through the last couple of years of my life. Quite a few years now. I've had a lot of growing up to do, and there's some ways where when you go through hard shit, you grow up really fast and you become really hard. But then there's also ways where if you're really deep, emotional, loving person, that those things actually shut you down as a person, and it's very difficult for you to maneuver and actually be. And I'm not like everybody else. I'm not like a 9 to 5, A B C D X Y Z. I'm not. That's not who I am. I got more of an artist soul, where I'm just free and want to just dance and live, and I know that God's got my back type thing. And it's always been true too. I've always just kind of rode the wave with my relationship with the universe and with the divine and with the Most High. And the hard knocks of life have kind of knocked me off my wave, and I've got pulling under a couple of times, and pulling myself out of that has been some of the hardest shit I've ever gone through in my life, and I'm grateful for every fucking moment of it. And that's what's led me here, where it's okay, I'm ready to fight for my life. So even though I'm scared of all my weird crap creeping in, as long as I'm true to myself in this situation, I'll be okay. I'll be able to freaking walk through this healing process and shake all those old habits. I really am not trying. And I brought up the weed thing too, because it's a part of habitual things, you know what I'm saying? When I'm going through emotional things, this is how I deal with it, and I don't want to be that same thing anymore. I'm trying to wear old hats that don't suit the person that I am now, and that's a process to walk through that and shed away the things that don't serve you anymore. So I've decided to not be mad at myself and just walk through it, and when I'm ready to walk away from certain things, I will. And then the big major thing is that comes with this is like self-sabotage. So I'm just really working through like not sabotaging myself, because I really want to be successful and I don't want to let myself down. And I spent a lifetime letting myself down, and I just don't want to do that anymore. I really deserve to live and be healthy and feel good inside, and I deserve to have the life that I know in my heart I'm meant to have. I know that I deserve to live a life where I get to think clearly and evaluate my emotions on a higher level, and not be driven by all those like low vibrational freaking like just trauma driven emotions. I'm grateful that I've been given this opportunity to freaking heal myself and walk through this, and the way that I will repay this opportunity is that everything that comes to me from this point, I'm going to dedicate my life to teaching other people how to do this so that they could heal, because it's more than just juicing, y'all. It's about, I started my healing journey way before this. You have to be willing to like take a look at yourself and see yourself for who you really are in that moment, and not who you want to see yourself or who you think you are or who you want to believe you are. It's about really having solid self-evaluation, and not in a condemning way, but just a way that makes you see like, I'm not happy, or I'm not good. Like, I want to keep walking around even though I'm in pain, or even though I'm, needing a nap in the middle of the day, or even though I'm really overweight and I don't want to be, and I'm embarrassed and ashamed because I can't fucking be the person I want to be. All those feelings, like, those things need to drive you. Those shame, all that, don't let it make you worse. Don't let it make you hide anymore. Go freaking find a book, find a website, find something, find a social place that gives you the inspiration that you need, or the knowledge that you need, so that you can trust yourself and believe in yourself, so that you could actually walk through it, because you can't do it if you don't trust yourself. You can't put all your trust into other people to help you be the person you want to be. Now, are there wonderful people out there who will cheer for you? Absolutely, but you got to be your biggest cheerleader. You also have to see yourself in a way that makes other people feel uncomfortable, because they don't see themselves in that way. You have to look at yourself and go, you know what? I deserve to be happy. Not because I'm perfect, not because I'm a fucking superhero, not because I've done some great thing, because that's my right as a human being to have joy and peace and love. Everything doesn't have to be miserable, and it's not. But it feels that way because our bodies are sick. And our we have so much freaking sickness and poison just going through all of our lives. Like, the world is at such a freaking weird state, y'all. And it's up to us to take our lives back and take our path back and stop handing over our power to other people. Come on. Stop listening to other people tell you, use your mind, step away from freaking news. Stop putting stuff like that in your head. There's nothing wrong with like checking every once in a while to see what's happening and know what's going on and what's the state of the world. There's nothing wrong with knowing those things, but to have it going 24/7, it's poison and it's toxic. And I know this because I was alive during 9/11, and I was awake in the morning, and I watched those fucking planes hit those towers, and I saw all of that shit happen. And I remember watching it and watching it and watching it and watching it for days and days and days, because that was the first time in my lifetime where something like that had happened, and I freaking knew people who had friends in New York, and everybody, you'd bump into people and everybody was talking about it, and everybody knew somebody, and like, it was just one of those really tragic things that happened that, like, I could go on like a whole conspiracy theory thing on that, but I'm not going to. But the point is that I remember listening to that stuff and just remembering how fucking sad and angry and toxic and like scared and all these horrible feelings that I was feeling all the time. And then I remember just going, no more. And I just stopped watching it. I stopped paying attention to it. I stopped talking about it. And eventually, like, I felt better. And it was like that toxic garbage all the time is just not okay, And that's where we take responsibility for like what's going in our head, what's going in our heart, what are we doing. Like, I used to watch horror movies like all the time. Always, I used to watch things riddled with sex and killing and, you know, all the stuff, like crime stories and like all these different things. And like, this was many years ago. I stopped watching all of that shit, like like way over a decade ago, because it just was toxic. And I'll tell you what, if I watch a scary movie now, it scares the shit out of me. And I'm like, how the hell did I watch this kind of stuff all the time? That's what I'm saying, guys. It's like, you will change. And that's where I have to keep reminding myself in this very difficult time of coming back into eating, is that I will change. It's going to take time. Things are going to try to come back at me, but I'm strong and I know I'm going to do this. So I'm at 20 minutes and I'm not going to go any further than this. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for being interested in my story and sticking around this long. Stay tuned. Thank you for visiting me here at Earthy Love Medicine. Like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and have a wonderful day. And if you are watching this, I don't think I'm going to post it around this time, but it's in July. It's July 2nd, 2022, and 2 days is 4th of July. So I hope I have a wonderful 4th of July, and I hope you guys do too.